so grateful that I can be who I am and not be afraid of it through my music, through the art that I do, and share that with others, and also share the fact that if you have something to say, no matter how you say it, it is important, and nobody should have to shut you up because of it. I'm gonna make myself clear. This work is for the people. The struggle, the pain, the agony, the tyranny, the strength, the praise, the love, the hate that comes from being who we are. They try to silence us by putting us under. Not anymore. Now it's my turn to speak.
I have a child whose name is Morgan-Paige Melbourne. I tell you, this kid, from she was in my tummy, did a whole bunch of stuff to me. Every night I was on stage singing with her in my tummy, she would kick, so I would have to sit on my husband's bass amp just so I could continue to sing while the pain of her kicking continued. At the age of 3, I can remember her writing songs. She would just sing the lyrics out as she's writing these songs. And I'm like, I told my husband, I said, Howard, this kid is writing songs. He says, no. Yes, she was. So I had to record her one day. I don't know where those recordings went, but that was the beginning for me with her musical journey. And being, familiar with the Suzuki program with my other child, we decided to look for a Suzuki piano teacher for Morgan. Well, we found one, an amazing teacher, and she trained her how to relax and how to read properly without just trying to figure out things with her ear, put her in competitions, and from then the journey began.
When you first started competing, just what was that experience for you? Like, can you remember your first competition at all?
Oh, I definitely remember it. I don't remember what piece I did, though, but it was my first competition. I think I was either, 7 or 9, something like that. And I was really excited to participate. And my mom was with me, and then my piano teacher, Miss Florence White, was there as well. And, we're gearing up, getting ready to go. And, of course, we have parents and other teachers and others, and, coming up to myself and my mom. And then just out of the blue, just started just saying the most stereotypical thing about black people to us as soon as we walk into the door. And we're just like, where is this coming from? And just trying to see whether my mom had me when she was really young. And it's just like, oh, I don't believe you. And just a lot of things, making fun of my hair and everything, all before I had to go up on stage in 10 minutes. And I would play, and the class went really well. It was pretty fun. But then once I finished, and the competition class, where we were all leaving, and we were packing up our bags and our coats because it's in the middle of winter. And so we're going down, and there's these stairways going down. And so we went there, put on our coats, and then we were just about to head out. And then we had parents come up to me, and they're saying, oh, this is so strange. Black people don't play classical music. Shouldn't you be in jazz? And I'm like, but I'm playing classical. So just making fun of the fact that I wanted to be there and that my teacher put me in a classical class, almost as if that, it's never for Black people and it's something that they can't do. And it was just a really degrading moment for myself. And it's just like, there's nobody that wants me here. And I dealt with that for years, even when I would eventually switch to the last teacher, the piano teacher that I had, Rosemary Collins. And when I first saw her, because she had me throughout my entire teen years, and I told her, just, like, there are parents and teachers, that don't necessarily like me in these competitions because of who I am. And then she's like, oh, it will get worse because they don't like me either. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes me feel a little better. So I was like, I'm not the only person that they despise going into competitions, So it was just having her teach me and just help me grow was so helpful that it made me determined to stay in piano competitions. I started taking writing seriously when I was 13. At the time, I really just used the piano and the guitar for the most part. And I kind of just mainly did it for myself. At that time, I was really going through a lot of depression from various things. And I wasn't diagnosed with depression until I was 16, 17, but because basically from age 9, just from like a lot of things that was going on. I had like suicidal thoughts since I was 9, and it's like, what kid has suicidal thoughts since 9? And for years, my dad never really quite understood that, and always made fun of me for that, and always thought that I was just seeking attention or whatever. So once I reached my double digits, I was pretty much just mute for the most part, didn't really talk to anybody about anything. And at the time when my dad wanted to have me record some stuff, he was really changing my voice in a way that I did not want it to be. And it wasn't who I was at all. It was like changing from the emotional wreck that I was, turning it into bubblegum pop. And it's like, not exactly what I was aiming for. So, and that really felt like my emotions and what I was going through wasn't valid. And that was piled on top of a lot of other things going on. So there was a period where I did stop writing because it didn't feel right. And with everything that happened, it felt like my voice was just shut off. So honestly, it wasn't until when I took that year off from competitions and moved to Toronto, moved out the house, took a year break away from doing nothing. And then with my dad passing away, that honestly gave me the freedom and the mental freedom to do what it is that I bloody wanted to do. And nobody could tell me otherwise, because I was done of being shut up. I was done of not being able to speak my mind and not stand up for myself. I was done with feeling so fucking scared all the time. I wanted to be me. I wanted to be unapologetically myself. And part of that was moving out. Part of that was my dad's death. Like, I do love him to bits. Don't get me wrong. I love him to bits, but it gave me that extra freedom that I needed. And so now I am so grateful that I can be who I am and not be afraid of it through my music, through the art that I do, and share that with others, and also share the fact that if you have something to say, no matter how you say it, it is important. And nobody should have to shut you up because of it.
What is Requiem for the Lost? And just, yeah, where did the inspiration come from to write that song? And right, and then we'll talk about like how did you produce it, right?
So Requiem for the Lost, when writing it, it was kind of just like, it was very much a spur in the moment thing. But as it kept going, I noticed that there was this theme of wanting to create a voice that's kind of speaks for all of those who were forced into silence and forced to not being able to say what's on their minds, especially with all of the fascism and racism that's out there, and people are not allowed to protest in a way based on who they are as people, just to have a human right to live your life as who you are. And when you protest, you get beat up and put in jail and other things. I mean, almost like always end up dead just based on the color of skin, just for wanting to just asking for, you know, a right to live, which is not right, you know. And a lot of this has been piled upon classicism, colonialism, and there's so many layers. And for me, when talking about these things, I'm not really good talking about it, you know, in like a speech or a podcast or doing these different things or like in different ways, right? So I do mine through music, which is one of the easier way for me to do that. And so Requiem is based on that. So it was definitely just like, it just hit me and I just had to write it. And so it was done within 12 hours.
So, which instruments did you use in it? Like, how did you record it? I know you like to make your own beats and some of your own sounds. Can you just talk about how you made some of those sounds, created some of those sounds?
Yeah, so most part, when it came down to more of the percussive stuff, I actually used the piano at my mom's place. So, because my grand piano was there. So I used the body of the piano to do that. So I used that as like the drum on the lid. And then I kind of did some scratching noises as well. And there's clapping in there. So body percussion, so using the hands and then like the chest and kind of vibing between there. And also using my mouth as well for some of these. So I also, in this section here, I used what's called a prepared piano. So it's kind of, I put a towel inside the piano on the strings, and then I pressed my hand on top of it to kind of give it that tightened sound, so the hammers can't quite let the strings resonate very well. So it kind of has like this prick sound to it. And then I just did the octaves to it to kind of like let it go and let it do its own thing. And so to make sure that the sound of the drumming on the piano lid comes through, I just amplified the space a little bit and changed the instrumentation on it. So I was able to kind of switch to like make it sound like bongos a little bit and kind of tweaked it so it can have more of an air around it. And then I added bass on top of that as well, mainly particularly for the section. And then all of the vocalizations just help fill in the gaps that go in, and so everything comes in a little bit layered, a little bit over and over again, and then it kind of just coax the area for it. And on top of that, I use the synthesizer that I have there to kind of fill in other sections that I needed that I don't have instruments for. So yes, I do hope to have this room filled with instruments so it's a little easier to find. But yeah, just using what we got. Make do with what you got.
Very cool. What's your favorite part of this song?
Anything that has to do with harmonies. So it's actually down here. Because it's all a cappella, and it's so spooky. Because it's like, it just stops and it makes you think and ponder about things.